Hello, welcome to Tactic Bryant Fitness Systems. This is a video for my new follower, Pyrex. And this video is all about the fitness industry, drugs in gyms and drugs in general. Now, back in the day, when I was about 20, I'm now 53, I got into the world of drugs, thinking that these people that were taking drugs were my mates and friends. And I soon realised after 2 or 3 years of abusing myself that they weren't my friends. And then I stopped completely and went 100% into my training regime. I'll put some pictures up later of when I was much leaner. I was about 11 stone, 10, 11 stone, and always wanted to be a bigger guy. But trying to put on size and muscle can be hard when you have no knowledge. So the state of the gyms now is that most of the hardcore gyms have all disappeared. So it's all these corporate gyms where the corporate owner only wants your membership. He doesn't care whether you get results, whether you get bigger or smaller. And I don't even think they care whether people are on drugs or not on drugs. Now, back in 2020, just during the pandemic, when it was just about fiddling out, I went and worked in a gym, and there was a couple of heroin addicts there that admitted me that they was on heroin. There was a couple of people on speed, and then there was some steroid users, obviously from their gargantuan size that they had. They wouldn't have had that naturally, in my opinion. But it was really rampant and rife, and I was quite shocked by that. And back in the 80s and 90s, with the era of the Essex boys and stuff, a lot of guys would go in the gym just to get pumped up, just to look good, to go to nightclubs at the weekend. But then they'd still smoke drugs and still drink alcohol. And many of them guys have got pot bellies and don't train anymore, or they're dead. So I believe that the more that you stay natural and raw as possible, the better as you age, if you're in your 20s, 30s or 40s. Me being 53, I lift heavy for my age, but I'm not going to compete with 21-year-olds. Does that make sense? Especially if they're doing 200-300 kilo for one rep. But they're doing that drug assisted. It's not going to be natural. So in 2 or 3 years' time, their bodies will start to break down and they'll have problems. The same with a cokehead. The cokehead starts doing it at the weekend, and like Dave Courtney said, who, God rest his soul, Dave Courtney said that you can't do cocaine on your own. You've got to do it with a friend. And I noticed this when I was a nightclub bouncer in the West End for 14 years. You'd see a pattern. You'd see a group of guys come into the club, and a group of them, 1 or 2 of them in twos, they'd go in the toilet, snort their coke and come out and get all gobby and mouthy with us. But not always, not always. Sometimes the guys are just there, would just be there to have a good time, and they find it hard to get in a club if there's a group of them. So they're grateful that we'd let them in, but we keep an eye on them. So I believe that with the steroid abuse in gyms, it's phenomenal. It's 1 in 3 now are taking steroids. And this is why I get stupid comments all the time. But really, it's a compliment. If somebody says, what stack am I on? What roids am I on? It means that I'm really big and I'm looking the part. Does that make sense? And they want to know that secret. But my secret is creatine, BCAAs, lots of water, lots of meat, get to bed on time, don't knock one out on a training day, knock one out on a training day, because your testosterone goes through the floor. And keep your testosterone high by getting to sleep on time and not drinking beer. So a lot of guys, weekend warriors in the gym, will go out and get bladdered at the weekend, taking coke, ecstasy, or whatever their chosen drug is for that night. Now, the things that these guys have got to watch out for now is that even cannabis is laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl is the strength, double the strength of heroin. So if a heroin user can't get off of heroin when they end up getting addicted to it, how are you going to get off the cannabis if it's got fentanyl in it? And the reason why they're doing this is because they want everyone addicted to something. The same with your doctor. When you're ill, your doctor will go, right, you need to take this drug. And when you decide to do your own research, or you decide, sorry, doctor, I'm not going to take that drug, the doctor freaks out. Because he thinks he knows more than you. And this has happened to me for a few times. For argument's sake, I went to my doctor, and my doctor said he's now been struck off. Said to me, you need to take statins. And I went, why? I'm 30 years old. Oh, your cholesterol's through the roof. I said, yeah, that's because my body's got inflammation in it from exercise. And I said, I eat high amounts of meat to keep my muscle on my body. So that's why my cholesterol is high. It's not harmful. Oh no, I suppose I can't talk you into it. And I went, well, you're not making a good advert for it, are you? I said, so what are the side effects? He went, oh, you might get joint pain, you might get breathless, you might get this or that. And I went, I've got none of them symptoms. So why would I want to take something that's going to give me a load of symptoms? And he went, oh, I don't suppose I'll convince you. And I said, no. He went, do you drink? And I went, no. And he went, well, you know, a glass of wine is really good for you every night. Now, that's all been debunked by the science. If you drink more than 2 glasses or 2 pints of beer, or 2 glasses of wine, or more than that in a glass of wine, every week, the chances of you getting dementia is phenomenal. The same as with statin drugs, they've been linked to giving people dementia. And if you look at your granddad or grandma and ask them if they've been on statins, if they've got dementia or any brain disorder later on in age, it will be linked to the drugs that the doctor's been giving them. So my mum, God bless her, she has got lymphedema, which is a form of cancer, but they've got her on shitloads of drugs. They're not getting her to exercise or move around, so she's not getting healthier. She's 75. And when she was younger, they put her on a sleeping drug to help her to sleep, right? She'd been on that for 20 years. They give her some other drug that she was on for 20 years. So these doctors should go to court and be prosecuted for not doing their job properly, because they take an oath of do no harm. So if you've got a mum or a dad or a family member that's been on drugs for multiple years, this is what's causing the illness and the disease. Does that make sense? And this is what happens to bodybuilders. They get on the drugs, they get a bit bigger, they get addicted to the buzz of getting bigger, and guys going to them, oh, you're looking bigger, oh, you're looking bigger, oh, you got bigger, oh, you put on some size, oh. But who gives a shit about that? Yeah, I've got 18-inch arms because I like having 18-inch arms. But no one has come up to me and said, oh, Scott, you've got massive arms. How big are they? I haven't had a queue of girls queuing up to touch my arms because they're 18. Does that make sense? So really, taking steroids just to get bigger is just all ego. It's nothing but ego that will damage you in the long run. Does that make sense? And you've got to buy a shirt. Like, so last year, I wanted to renew all my clothes in my wardrobe. And I went into Calvin Klein and couldn't find a shirt to fit me. I went into, what was it? Oh, what's that one that's closing? Ted Baker. Couldn't find a shirt that fit me. Went into Ralph Lauren. Couldn't find a shirt that fit me. Oh, we don't do stuff for 17.5-inch necks and 55-inch chests, or 49-inch chests. I'm overflating my ego there. Do you see my point? So when you get to a certain size, and if it's really big size, and you can't get to the gym and you ain't got a home gym, you will lose that size. Do you see my point? So when you're taking gear, you're going to look good for a while, but then as soon as you come off your cycle, you'll deplete and look shit. And then you've got to make sure that what you're getting from your dealer is, because they are dealers, they're not chemists, you've got to make sure it's the real McCoy, that it's good stuff. To be able to keep the same effect that you're getting from it. Does that make sense? But creatine has been proven time and time again. I've had some creatine in my drink today. I've done 32 sets, 4 exercises today, really pushed it to the max to get a pump on the arms and feel good. And this is what steroids will take away. Eventually, when you're off them, one, you'll have a deflated ego because you'll lose so much size, and you'll have to drop down to your skinny jeans because you can't put big boy jeans on anymore, and bad skin, bad attitude. And that's the other thing you got to think about. If you're on gear and you're constantly aggressive, but you don't realise that you are aggressive because none of your friends will tell you because they're too fucking scared, or you're a narcissist, so whatever anybody says to you, they're always wrong. So let's say you always aggressive and you're with your girlfriend, but before you was on the gear, you had a nice physique, you've got bigger, but now you're aggressive and angry all the time and want to punch people. It does make you like that, apparently. I'm like that normally. But when you get into that mindset, and if you're in love with somebody, they're going to get rid of you. They're going to go, fuck the muscle, because I don't care about the muscle. Most girls don't. It's the guys that care about the muscle. And you lose your partner because you've got fucking anger issues because of the gear you're on. Is it really worth it? Or let's say, argument's sake, hypothetically, you're walking down the road, there's a punch up. Because you're on gear, you think you're like Superman, you jump in and the guy sticks you with a knife, and then you're in hospital for 3 months, losing all your size, losing your will to live because you're losing your size, and you can't project yourself as well when you're smaller. Does that make sense? And these are the little things that the guys that are taking the gear are not thinking about. They're thinking about short term, not long term. I still want to be training when I'm 80 and 90. I've had a client and his uncle was 74, got the South African powerlifting world record. That's what I want. I still want to be training at that age, still enjoying being fit and strong, and be like that boxer, British military boxer that got they tried to burgle his house and the guy had a blade, so he beat the fuck out of him, the 70, 80-year-old, and nothing was said because the guy had a blade and he was trying to rob him. And I believe that this is what's important, is if you keep strong, fit and healthy naturally, you will keep it for the rest of your life. If you try and gamble with your health by taking Sustanon, Deca, Dynabold or whatever they're going to take, this will denature your health for long term. As we age, we get aches and pains and we get problems anyway, so you're just going to be upping it and making it worse. So back in my day, like in the early 80s and 90s, everyone was taking this drink called Red Kick. Now, anybody that's my age will remember that. I don't know what they're taking now, but I know they've got lots of protein bars that are full of crap, loads of drinks that are full of crap. The only thing that's good in there in most gyms is the water, but I wouldn't drink the water out of the fountain because it's probably coming from the sewage down the road. And that happened in one of the gyms that I was training at. I kept showering, and every time I showered, there was like a sewage smell. I was like, this is weird. And a couple of days I felt rough when I had a break from the gym. Then when I went back to the gym and showered and got home, I felt rough again. I'm like, something's not right. So I went and complained to the manager, and the manager done a test on because they've got like a big water basin thing in the top of the roof of the building that stores all the water. It had a dead fucking pigeon in it. So that was going into the water system, then going on us when we were showering before, at the end of your session, or when you've done the steam or the sauna. So that was quite shocking. And in all the times that I've been training in gyms, I've never seen steroids on the floor or steroids anywhere. They normally chat to the guy, meet him in the car park, or meet him in a pub, or meet him somewhere, and then they do that sort of deal. But it's all going to be counterfeit. It's not going to be real. Do you really want to put a counterfeit product in your body that could cause cancer, like for Dolph Lundgren, or could cause problems like it has for Sylvester Stallone? You look at him, he's really bloated now and doesn't look well. Then you look at Arnold, he's had 3 heart bypasses. But we've got to remember they're all in their 80s. So when you get to that age, if you've not looked after yourself and you've experimented with your hormonal system, then this can cause a problem. Does that make sense? And what I don't get, we get an endorphin rush or release when we train. So why would you need to take anything anyway? I'm buzzing now. I'm feeling really good, all pumped up, ready to go. After doing my 32 sets, for 4 exercises today. And that's inbred in me, do you know what I mean? I'll always lift weights, I'll always train. And I remember getting a doctor's overall test done about 2 years ago. And the doctor come to me and just said, "You're the fittest 50-year-old I've got on my books." I went, "Why is that?" He went, "Because they all drink, they smoke, they don't look after themselves. You don't smoke, you don't drink, and you just work out." And I went, "Well, it's what I love, you know what I mean? It's what I do for a living." And that's what I think is what's wrong with the guys that are and girls that are taking gear now. They have low self-esteem, they have a high ego, or they might be very narcissistic. Or I had a trainer, I was doing a massage course in London, and this trainer, he was really tall, he was about 6'4", 6'5", and he was advocating steroids to his clients. And I went, "What the fuck are you doing?" He went, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" I went, "Well, you're advocating steroids to your clients. Clients who book a PT are normally well off, like money-wise. They could sue you if they have a problem with what you're giving them. And you're not a registered licensed doctor or endocrinologist, so why would you even recommend that?" I said, "It's just pure stupidity on your part." Guess what? He never spoke to me the rest of the course, which I was pleased about, really, But at the end of the day, they're legalizing cannabis in Germany. They've legalized it in California. Obviously, it's legal in Holland. But the thing with it is that it's very habit forming. You will get addicted to it. And it can cause health issues. It can cause... there's a local guy that's got schizophrenia. But before he got the schizophrenia, he was a really nice fella. And everybody liked him. But nobody talks to him now because he's got schizophrenia, because you don't know how he's going to be with you from day to day. Does that make sense? Which is really, really sad. And it's really sad that he's lost his friends because he's got this illness because of all the drugs he was taking. Remember, your gut is your third brain. Okay? So you got your first brain, your second brain, your third brain. So you've got left and right hemispheres, and then you've got the gut-brain connection. So if you're putting ecstasy and drugs into your gut, you're messing with your gut biome, which will then weaken your immune system, and then stop your body from fighting illnesses and diseases. And this when you're going to get a problem. Does that make sense? Please subscribe there. Please like, please share, and comment down below if you want me to talk about something else. But stay as raw and as clean as you possibly can if you're looking for longevity in your life. But if you've got no kids, no family, and you don't give a shit, then do whatever you fucking want. Bye.